Well, hello there. I wasn't sure I was going to do Canter with Katie tonight. I'm so tired after the weekend. But today we're going to talk about coincidence or fate. So I'm going to roll the intro as per usual, and then I'll be right back. Okay. See you in a minute. Boom. Let's do this. Hey. I think I've used that picture before in a post, but like no big deal. But even if I've talked about this topic before in Canter with Katie, it wouldn't be exactly the same. So let's get into it. I got to pull my banner up. Oh, you know what? I'm going to try. Where is the thing? There's a thing on here, and I don't know exactly where it is. StreamYard. Show. Sorry. Remember when I had the thing? Oh, show comments on stage. So it'll be small for me, so I'll probably still pull them up like this funny example thing that it had, like that. But or like my banners as they look like. We're going to talk about coincidence or fate. So the reason why I'm talking about this tonight, because have you ever had one of those moments where something just lines up like perfectly, right? And you're just like, okay, what? Okay, universe, is this like a sign? So we're going to talk about those circumstances tonight, those weird, wacky things that happen. And then do you think of them as coincidences, or do you think of them as just happenstance, or like scientific, scientific like stats? Like I'll talk about one of those situations in a minute. So whoever's on here, make a comment or something just so I can see how it shows up in the live thing. Then I'll still share it on the screen. But okay, so the reason why I'm talking about this is because this past weekend I went to Pleasanton, California. Oh yeah, there you go. So I can't see it on there. It's tiny for me. I don't know if it is for you. So this is the comment. Oh no. I got to take it off live because I can't. Oh, she says, hey, Katie, love coincidences. There we go. Ta-da. I did it. And Beth says, coincidence. Exactly. So neither of you think they're fate. So by the way, I have a funny story to tell you. I'm going to start with this actually, because Beth Burton, who's on here just now, is an announcer at the games in Pleasanton. It's at the Alameda State Fairgrounds in California. It's like by Silicon Valley. It's like east of San Francisco, basically north of San Jose. It's by Dublin, California, if you know where it is. So she's an announcer that kicks ass. Pamela says, yep, tiny, but size doesn't matter. Ha. Potentially. Anyway, so Beth here, and you can look her up, is an announcer, and she's awesome at it. I don't know, I think you still throw sometimes, right, Beth? But anyway, this is called a trig, okay? And I just got an old picture of mine up. Oh, I'm going to put this different background up too, because I put this here. La, la, la. You really won't see some of the things. This is called a trig, and this is what you throw behind when you're throwing, okay? So I'm standing in the trig, and I'm about to do... Beth says, nah, she doesn't really throw anymore. So that's a trick, just so you know. So it's just like a rectangular wooden thing, and that's what you stand behind to throw. So if you cross that, you scratch or whatever. So I'm in the trig, in the area that I'm supposed to be in to throw. And Beth's announcing, and she says, and I still laugh. She says, she always gives a tidbit about people. She goes, this is Katie Horgan, who has a podcast and has tens of followers. And then I tagged her in this tonight, and she said, I'm going to watch it just to double your viewership. And then I couldn't throw. Like, I just was laughing too hard to double over. And then I said to her, hey, I told you I have dozens of followers, okay? Throw shade, but that's about it. That's absolutely true, Beth. Okay, so now I'm going to get down to the nitty gritty. So I'm on the airplane, and I'm flying from Phoenix to San Jose. And everybody always asks me, couldn't you find a direct flight? I'm like, yeah, but they were all at weird times. And when you throw, and it's hot in Pleasanton, it's the hottest ever. Like every year I'm like, I can't freaking go back there. It's just awful. Like Saturday, I thought I was going to have heat stroke, seriously. It was so ungodly hot. And then everybody always talks crap too. Oh, don't you live in Phoenix? Yeah, but it's a different heat. And that doesn't mean I throw in 100-degree weather, It's just different. So anyway, I was hot, but I'm flying to LAX and then I'm flying to San Jose, and my time in between was ridiculous. I almost thought that they basically had texted me and said, "Hey, we booked you on another flight," and I was like, "What?" Thankfully, they didn't, and I still made it, and I had just basically a 10-minute layover. But it was the same gate and the same plane. So anyway, I'm on the plane from here to LAX, and I'm sitting next to this guy. This guy, his name's Jace. And we're chatting, and it's really funny. And it's like, "What are you doing this weekend?" He's like, "I'm going to LA. Where are you staying?" He's like, WeHo, which is West Hollywood. What are those? I can't even see. Oh my God. Anyway, we're just talking about what we're doing. And so I like, let's take a picture together because it's just funny because we're both doing interesting sports. So he was going to LA to play at a kickball tournament, and I was going to Pleasanton to do Highland Games, which are both, I mean, kickball, everybody knows what it is. Not everybody knows what Highland Games are, but we're both still doing like some fun competitions for the weekend. So then on the way home, so I was supposed to stay until Wednesday with my friend, my high school bestie, my childhood bestie, and she came up and stayed on Saturday night and hung out on Saturday and Sunday and had a blast. And I was supposed to stay, but her dad has to have surgery next week or this week or whatever. So I changed my flight to leave yesterday morning. I had to leave at 7 a.m. So I had to leave my hotel room at like 4:15 to get the car back and everything. So I get to LAX. So Pam says, "If you can kick a winch, you can kick a ball." Boom. So anyway, I get to LAX and I go to the Delta Lounge for like 45 minutes. And then I'm boarding and I see Jace and he's waving at me. And I go, "Oh my God, that's amazing. You know, what if we're sitting next to each other?" Ha ha. And then I'm sitting on the plane and I'm like pointing to like the aisle and a number. And then he walks up closely and he's like, "No way." So look, we sat right next to each other on the plane from LAX to Phoenix on the way home. And to me, I think that is a crazy coincidence. If it's fate, I don't know what it is. I mean, he's a realtor. Maybe we'll work together sometime. But I wouldn't have thought twice. Not that I wouldn't thought twice about you, Jace, if you're watching. But, you know, you sit next to someone, you talk to him, you never think about it again until I'm on the plane again. And I'm like, what are the freaking odds? I know they're there. I know it's happened to other people, but it's freaking crazy. I know, party time. And so we were just like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this." And then we became Facebook and Instagram friends, of course. And I saw his post on Instagram and like he's super positive and stuff, like about his stuff like I do. So I just thought it was really interesting, you know? So let's dig in. So that's my story. And I thought, well, let me look up some things. Okay. So I got all this information from here. And there's a couple of stories. So I worked a while to get the fortune out without breaking the cookie. And then it says happiness pays, or persistence pays off. Oh my God. What am I going to do? Am I going to be able to see my readers? It's like hard with all of these things. Okay, hang on. I got to fix something real quick. La, 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 la. Okay. Wait, did I just mess something up? Okay. Sorry. Okay. So next story. My wife has seen the same numbers, 428, pop up multiple times throughout her life. No explanation why, it just does. Both our credit cards end in 428, but I figured that's not too strange since the numbers usually have significance for the bank. But then she gets my phone number when we were dating, and that ends in 428. Then one day she's going through our personal records looking for her dad's death certificate when she sees my birth certificate. I was born at 428. Also, she said back years before I even knew she existed, she created a fake boyfriend named Citizen Human, and see, that's his name on Reddit, as a joke to her friends. Then 5 or 6 years go by, and here I am. It's all very in the stars stuff, but I'm beginning to think she conjured me. So what do you think? Okay, so Beth Burton says, how many flights on Delta from LAX to Phoenix on a Monday morning? How many seats per plane? Well, if you're going to do the stats, there's probably 3 or 4 flights, and there's smaller planes, so maybe 100. So I don't know what those stats are, but still, the fact that I was going to be going back on Wednesday, you know what I mean? And it's just, but the fact that we were sitting right next to each other, so I just thought it was crazy. Okay, don't know why, but my parents thought for sure I was going to be a girl, so much that they did pick a boy name. Surprise, not a girl. 29 years later, I met a lovely college girl with the same name, first and middle name as I was supposed to have. She thought it was a cute pickup line. I don't think she really believed me until she met my mom. Yes, we've been married for 23 years. Isn't that cool? Okay. 15 years ago, I went to a doctor's appointment. They called me by my name, and I went in. I went up and went in. They confirmed my birth date as well. Then they asked me what when my last period was, etc. I peed in a cup, and which was normal for an annual physical test. And the doctor came in to inform me that he was sorry, but I did not appear to be pregnant. I said, "Well, thank God. Was I supposed to be?" So apparently, they had 2 patients that day, the same name. We had the same exact date of birth. She, however, was born in another side of the United States. The staff said that they had never had that happen in their entire careers. I don't have a particularly common name either, not uncommon, but not like Mary Smith. So it's interesting, right? What do you think? What do you think about those? What do you think about that in particular? Okay, college class, Professor reads roll and asks us to raise our hands. 2 of us did. She used our middle initial. We asked our middle initial. We both did again. So she said, "What's your middle name?" We were both the same 3 names. Now she's showing up under my background check because it shows I'm a pharmacist. I work in healthcare, but not a pharmacy. And then another person replied, "My mom had trouble getting her citizenship approved because another first name and last name had a warrant out for their arrest for years. I was about ready to hire a PI to find the other woman and turn her in just so my mom could get approved." Is that not crazy? So like the odds have to be a little bit different for that, right? I know maybe in college, I mean, okay, so I'll talk about that with the numbers here in a minute. All right, so this person says, "Not my story, but a family friend. His full name," this one's crazy. His full name is incredibly common, a la John Smith. And one day, he was driving down the street, speeding a bit, and got pulled over. No big deal. John gave the cop his info, and the cop goes back to his patrol car to check it. All of a sudden, the cop bursts open his patrol car and shields himself behind it while pointing a gun towards John's car and yells at him to put his hands up. John's terrified and confused and arrested. The cop eventually tells him he's wanted for armed robbery. Long story short, it turns out the actual robber, another John Smith, was born in the same city, in the same hospital, on the same day, around the same time, with the same full name. They were both given the same social security number. That's jacked. And it took years for John to unravel the mess, but he said it explained a lot of weird, unexplained things, mostly financial, that happened throughout his entire life. Now, that is a coincidence I do not want to happen to me. By the way, yeah, okay, I was going to make myself a little bubble, but I'm not going to. Okay, so here we go. This one. This is not the first time I post this on Reddit, he says. More than 25 years ago, my alcoholic father sold his old analog camera to buy some booze. Inside the camera bag, there was a piece of paper with a handmade aperture and shutter speed chart. I had drawn little circles on that paper when I was a child. Fast forward 15 years. There's a pawn shop near the place where I work, and from time to time I go there to see there's a picture of it. See what hidden gems I can find. One day there was a camera that looked quite similar to the one my father sold. I bought it on a whim without even checking if it worked properly, just because it looked like the one he undersold. Once at home, I took a closer look, cleaned it properly, and searched the bag. Yep, you know where this is going. There it was, the paper with the chart and my little circles in blue, bureau. I sat on the sofa for a moment just to let the WTF moment sink in. That camera is now held in a place of honor among my other cameras and photography gear. Now that's crazy. What would you guys think about that? Would you think that's like dad saying hi? And then he says, just in case anybody wants to see the prodigal camera, here it is. Isn't this nuts? Coincidence or fate? Okay, this one's taken from LinkedIn, and it's a pretty fun little story. So life's little coincidences never fail to amaze me. An auto ride I'll never forget. After delivering my talk at the state conference in Father Mueller Medical College, Mangalore, I hopped into an auto, rushing to my hotel to catch my flight. The driver asked what the medical conference was about. I gave a vague reply, but he persisted, rattling off subjects from anatomy, biochemistry, and pharmacology to forensic, ophthalmology, medicine, surgery, OBG, and pediatrics. He even asked, Madame, first-year subject, or he even stated, Madame, first-year subjects are tough, but kids slowly adjust. I was puzzled. How did he know so much about the medical curriculum? Then came the answer with a proud smile. He was the former bus driver for sorry, I got to find it. KMC Mangalore, ferrying medical students for 23 years. He finally spoke of how many of his kids are now eminent doctors across the city and the world. It made me pause and reflect. So many people silently contribute to our growth and success, yet their role often goes unremembered. They are unsung threads in the fabric of our achievements. That short auto ride became the highlight of my trip, a powerful reminder that every role matters, every connection leaves a mark. Meet Mr. Nagesh, the proud ex-bus driver of a medical college and a man who helped shape countless journeys. So here is his picture. And then, she took it from this lady and says, many such people contribute to our life. Many are taken for granted. Take a moment to recall such many tiny but very important contributions from many to our life with gratitude. So then I think about meeting the guy on the plane, and it wasn't a romantic thing. He's not my type, believe me. But I'm not his type, believe me. It's what are the reasons? Is there a reason behind it? Is there? I don't know. It's just very interesting to me. Okay, let's see how many I have left. Oh, this is a fun one. Okay, this is about a cat. So through a series of weird circumstances, I'd never met my best friend's older sister's best friend. Sounds like you're married to my sister's old best friend's cousin's dog's owner. Okay, so anyway, I'd never met my best friend's older sister's best friend, despite me also being very close to the sister and being at their house all the time. Okay, so Joe Rogers, just thought I'd say hello. It's nice to see you on here. All right, so here's where the coolness comes in. We finally met one night, and we were all sitting around the kitchen table talking, and she and I are both major cat people, and we were talking about our past and current cats. I told her the crazy and horrible story of how my cat had been missing since the night of my senior prom 3 weeks prior. He was 13, and I was devastated. I showed her a picture of him, and she said something along the lines of, I don't want you to get your hopes up, but he looks a lot like this cat my dad started feeding in our backyard about 3 weeks ago. Oh, dun, dun, dun. But he didn't have a collar, so my dad thought he was a stray, and he's pretty chunky. It was like 11 p.m., but my friend and I immediately jumped into my car and drove over to the girl's house. As soon as I got out of the car and yelled his name, he came running. The grammar in here is terrible, by the way. He was missing a tooth from a previous adventure, so I pried his mouth open to be 100% sure it was him. The friend lived about 3 miles from me. After we worked out what had happened and how huge of a coincidence it was, my mind was completely blown. The stars aligned so perfectly for me to get my baby boy back. I still get goosebumps when I think about it. So what do you think? Do you guys have any opinions? Do you think any of these stories are too crazy? All right, this one's kind of fun. My friend and I were on a road trip. I'm taking these from, I forget where on this one. My friend and I were on a road trip a few years ago and needed a place to stay. We both told each other we had a friend in the city we were going through, so we figured that we'd be able to crash with one of them. Turns out our two friends were roommates and had both been telling each other they had a friend coming to town soon. Is that nuts? Like, what do you think? Like, what do you think? Like, what are the odds? You know what I mean? It's like sharing a cab, right? Or whatever, a Lyft or a Uber, and you end up going to the same place. Okay. So here's a fun one too, by the way. This guy I went to grade school and high school with, an acquaintance at best. I've seen him in 5 different locations in different countries throughout the last 15 years, just randomly. Okay. Some beach or a Disney World when I was a kid, some beach bar in Thailand, the Bean in Chicago, a pub in Budapest, a library in San Jose, Costa Rica. We've become friends due to our love of traveling, but neither of us post on social media, and neither of us communicated with each other our plans to travel. We never talked outside of the random meetings, and now if I see him, it's like the world wants us to have a beer together. Ha ha. I mean, I would kind of agree with that one, wouldn't you? What do you think of that one? What do you think of that one? Like, is that, I mean, are they supposed to keep crossing paths? Are they supposed to be better friends? Is it a sign? Is it a sign? Okay, this one's interesting. Not me, but a story I heard. I think this is the last one. Okay. This guy telling the story was from the UK on holiday. Oh, I got a comment. Hang on, do I? So Mona says, I think cool stuff just happens, and when we are tuned into things around us, we can see these connections. Yeah, and that's a good point too. Because like I said, like I wasn't really thinking about the conversation with the guy on the way to LAX, but because we were on the same plane, sitting next to each other in seats that either we picked or we were assigned, is kind of nuts. Okay, this guy, the guy telling the story was from the UK on holiday in Greece. He went for a walk and passed a public phone, which started ringing. On a whim, he answers the phone, and it's his bank calling him about some unusual activity on his account. The bank starts asking him questions. Can you imagine this? You're just walking down the street in London, and then you just decide to answer this what do they call it? I just said it. The phone. Like, oh my God, freeze, the public phone, whatever. You just decide to answer it, and they're like, hey, they're talking to you. They start asking him questions, but he's taken aback by how his bank knows his location. And this was in the early 90s, mind you. So people didn't even have cell phones then. And asks them how they got his number. The bank tells him it's the number that they have on file. He tells them that can't be right because he's in Greece, and this is a public phone book. Okay, so the bank tries to work out what happened, and then they realize instead of dialing his phone number, they accidentally dialed his account number, which just happened to be the exact number of this phone box in another country that he also just happened to be walking past at the exact same time as when they called. What are the odds of that happening? And then this person says 1 to 3 at least. So Pam says things that are meant to happen will happen. Yeah. Okay, so then I'm talking about, I went to Medium, which is like one of my favorite things. So growing up, so our coincidence is real. This person that wrote it, growing up, I shared my birthday with not one, but two classmates. It already felt statistically odd. 3 of us born on the same day in the same class. Years later at university, someone new walked into my life. Same birthday again. I laughed it off, but then it happened once more. This time at work in a different country altogether. Another person with my exact birth date. No joke, no exaggeration. Just to quiet something that felt guided. But then it states in here that this is called the birthday problem. It's a well-known statistical quirk. In a group of just 23 people, that's all it takes. There's a 50% chance that 2 will share the same birthday. It doesn't feel possible, but it is. Coincidences aren't as rare as we think. That doesn't mean that they're not profound. And then coincidences tend to feel like little weird winks from the universe, but that kind of make you stop and say, wait, what are the odds? So science says it's something called epiphania. It's just noticing something that's already there. I think we're all just looking for connection and reasons why the crazy things or the coincidences happen. But it feels good to know that we could all be connected in some way. So these always are a little bit longer than I planned. Hi. So let's go to final thoughts. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting. I would really love to know. I would love for you to, let's see. Well, what do you think? Are stories like these coincidences or fate? And maybe it's not about whether it's real. Maybe it's just about how it makes us feel. Okay. Coincidences remind us that something bigger might be at play, or maybe that life just has a fun sense of humor. So give you some of your coincidence stories. It's hard to say, I guess. Comment below, DM me, or email me. I'd love to share a show with your actual circumstances. Here's my email. getyourkeysfromkatie@gmail.com. So like and subscribe. It'll make Sit Squatch and his tiny hiney very happy. Happy Tuesday. I'm probably going to go to bed early tonight, too. I should talk about that because it's just gone awful hot. The journey begins with you, so be good to yourself. Sitchwatch says, and I say, I love you, and peace and love. I'll see you next week, okay? Bye. Thanks for coming. For joining, I should say.